You know, I kind of find it a bit ironic. It's snowing in the game, and it's also snowing outside. Oh, the dull irony there. Anyway, in accordance with the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, this channel is not to be viewed by children under the age of 13. Viewer discretion is advised. Hey everybody, Dragon King Mark here, and welcome to Let's Play Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut. Last we left off, we did the Mark 6 mission, found out what Project Atlas was, a cyber zombie. Basically, a heavily modified augmented troll that was cybered up to all high heaven, which we basically, killed our way out of the place and managed to get it back. Granted, we also gave it its semblance of control and it killed itself, but we got the body back, thankfully. Anyway, now we're just gonna do Paul actually called us a lot yesterday as well, basically saying that we have to talk to him. But first, the machine accepts the data upload. Only a few moments later, a certified Kretzig is spat out of the coin slot. The phone's old LCD readout displays the text, Freedom Equality Information, Shock One Rider. And we got that. Hello, viewer. Hang on, let me just... Hey, D. I had to switch. What's up? Stream coming in okay? We don't really need to talk to Samuel now that we actually got this taken care of. So yeah, let's go ahead and get the mission. Let's go ahead and get our mission stuff taken care of first before we talk to everybody. Dante! Pet. We must do this for good boy. Okay. We have one unread message. One last DVD. The screen flickers to life and Malit's face appears. She wears a plastic smile. Okay. I just wanted to be sure because it's, well, snowing. Huygen Shift. Well, I recovered one last DVD for you, but I'm afraid that's all you're gonna get. You might as well use the rest as coasters. They're all beyond repair. If you look into onto the table beside your DVD player, you'll find the disc that I salvaged. She pauses. A slight frown crosses her face. To be completely honest, that was a lie. To recover this last disc, I was forced to... subcontract. Shradi is a brute of a man. I am unimpressed with his manner, and his poor hygiene disgusts me. But he is very good with little things such as this. All credit is where it's due. The message ends and the image fades. Find yourself back in your inbox. Alright. Job directory. Let's claim payment for the Mark 6 prototype extraction. You submit the job as finished and await your client's response. A few moments later, a message pops onto the screen. Herr Schmidt to Shift. To call your work unsatisfactory would be an understatement. When I said we wanted the prototype, I should have gone without saying that we wanted it intact and operational. You technically fulfill the terms of our arrangement, so you get paid. But don't ever expect to work for us again. Schmidt. A moment later, a second message pops into your inbox. Your payment details. Okay, there's the payment, crew salary, ammo, automatic deduction for Alice Fund. So we got 3,750 yuan. New yen. Alright. Shadowline BBS. Any pay data? No. Formula 17. So, we've all seen this one floating about the tricks. This is some serious stuff. It's got heavy-duty corporate written all over it. Not a lot of players could get behind something like this. Ares or SK or maybe one of the big pharma corps, say Shirier or AGC. Of course, you can never totally discount the Azzies either. Tolstoy, my esteemed colleague, this is indeed a recipe for some top-shelf dreck. Whispers from the shadows say that this is sourced straight from the F-State. Hello, boys. I'm a big fan. You're no long-time reader, first-time poster. Quite an interesting concoction you have here. I'm just itching to cook something up. So many interesting properties to work with. I've already got a few tweaks in mind for my own special version 2.0. You sure you want to do that? This stuff doesn't play nice, and corps are really bad at sharing their toys. You can, of course, always share their secrets with them, just gotta make sure you run a little faster than them. Always run an ACW? Like clockwork. Bandit, I'm touched by your concern, but don't you worry about little old me. I do declare, this shall be ever such fun. Since we just posted the Formula 17 report online, already making the rounds. Please help me find my daughter. Please help me find my daughter. She ran away from home. She's human, in her early 20s with short blonde hair and a data jack. She was last seen wearing a light blue dress. Worried Mother 004. This is not exactly the place to be looking for missing kids. How'd you even get in here? I paid good money to get out of here. I was told you people could help. If you got the news and you came to the right place, I sent you a number you can reach me at. The old help me find my missing kid routine. A classic. My money is on escaped wage slave. Make sure you do your homework, Ruby. And corp tracers. Anyone have a good backup plan for when you get stuck with a tracer? Barely managed to bug out of my apartment after a corp hit squad came knocking. Lesson learned. Pat yourself down a couple of times and make sure you don't have a tail. But if I miss something, I'd rather keep my safe houses, safe. I've had a good look with RF blockers. I have a jamming grid set up near my safe house. It projects any signals to a few miles away when I've got some cameras placed. So when someone shows up there, I know that they were trying to find me. Then I do a thorough sweep to find a tracer. Sharp. How long does that go on before they give up? Usually rules of threes. I keep reprojecting the signal to different locations. In my experience, they give up after the third one is a dead end and then stop listening to that RF signal. Huh. Good to know. So, yeah. So far my week's been pretty much alright. Just chilling, watching some old shows. Recently got into the solar punk genre. Got a book coming. Anyway, let's talk to Paul. As you step forward, the rest of your team falls silent. M-Cell shifts his attention to you. You see the worry on his face. Shift, I have new information. I'm afraid that the news isn't good. So you sit over the comm. Go on, we're listening. 2 years ago, a large shipment of a highly lethal radioactive bioweapon disappeared en route to a storage facility in Dresden. The weapon was designed X-15. I've traced the path of the missing shipment. It was delivered to the Hardfield Manor. Well, that sounds horrible. It is. I've heard what this stuff does before, back in the service. We called it Doom. Solarpunk is basically, you know how cyberpunk is basically dystopia? Solarpunk is more of an opposite. More about renewable energy, green, and creating a self-sustaining world. Really good concept, and it's really beautiful to look at. Like, steampunk is when you want style, cyberpunk is when you want action, solarpunk is a world you want to live in. Anyway, I've never run across it in the wild, but I've heard enough horror stories to know what I don't want to know, that I don't want to. The stories that you've heard are correct. This Doom is an extremely dangerous substance. He gestures to a technical document on his computer's display. I've been reading up. To this day, the story of Doom remains a cautionary tale in biotech circles. Monoclonal antibody technology is strictly regulated now, and this substance is one of the reasons why. What does this stuff do exactly? Amso clears his throat and reads aloud from the information on his screen. Doom kills by destroying a host's muscular tissue via radioactive decay. Oh god! Each individual Doom antibody is bound to a radioactive bismuth-212 isotope. When introduced to a host, these antibodies bind to surface-level muscle tissue. The tissue is then killed with alpha radiation. This process repeats itself until the host wastes away and dies. Jesus. Iger nods grimly. I've heard that Doom was deployed in a couple of border skirmishes back in 41. After seeing what it did to the people up close, the UK has passed a unilateral ban on the stuff. If that doesn't tell you how bad it is, nothing will. Okay. So I hesitate to ask, but what would a dragon want with this Drek? Nothing good. That much goes without saying. This development worries me, Shift. It worries me greatly. If the dragon is stockpiling bioweapons, we got an even bigger problem than we thought on our hands. There's a moment of silence, then Dietrich speaks up. In my book, that doesn't change anything. I mean, it ups the stakes to the fire wings they allowed to carry out our plans, whatever those might be. But we're gonna stop her before that happens. That was always the plan, as far as I'm concerned. It's still part of the plan now. I agree with Dietrich. We need to focus on what's in front of us. Whatever the dragon's larger plans might be, the fact is that she's after us. We shouldn't let ourselves get distracted by anything else. Ansel is slow to respond. Finally, he nods. Yes, I concur. For the time being, we must continue forward. And that means that you must continue working towards raising Alice's fee. I'll leave the matter in your capable hands, Shift. When you've acquired the necessary funds and are ready to head back down to the rabbit hole, let me know. From there, we will discuss our next steps. Iger nods. Good. If you need me, I'll be getting prepared for the next run. Right behind you, love. Dietrich casts a backward glance at Glory. If any of this has an impact on her, she doesn't show it. Come on, Glory. Let's go. And looks like saving. Just give it a couple of minutes. Dietrich, you want to talk? What you need, boss? Back when we took on Humanist, you said that you found the Night of Rage. I'd like to hear more about that. Actually, any updates at Alex? New boss, Justin. I need help on the last run. There's nothing on that run we didn't discuss that didn't disgust me. What they did to that troll, he shudders. It wasn't right, boss, on any level. I don't care what anyone else tells you. You listen to me, Shift. What you did, killing that thing, that was the right call. Oh, okay. See you, D. There we go. Yeah, it cost us some yen, but letting that thing live would have been a travesty. Back when we took on Humanist, you said that you found the Night of Rage. I'd like to hear more about that. He nods and fishes his jacket from. Then fishes in his jacket pocket for his flask. All right, boss, we can talk about it. Let me. Don't worry, I just have to make sure. So, I already mentioned that Berlin's punks and anarchists joined in to fight off the racists, right? And after a long and bloody fight, we beat them. What I didn't mention is how I figured into all this. I was an anarchist at heart. I always have been. But at the time, I was fit squarely into the punk camp. I was 32 at the time. Massenkamp was still touring. Not as much as we did when we were kids, but we had a following. I guess I was a sort of an elder statesman for the scene. When we rallied to fight the racists, my followers came along for the ride. A bunch of young kids, all full of piss and vinegar and the immortality of youth. I was full of that good old Dragon Slayer spirit, pissed off and itching for a fight. And so I led those kids into the fray. They waded into the ride right alongside me, yelling and screaming with their fists in the air. I don't remember a whole lot of the fight itself, boss, but I do remember the aftermath. A lot of the kids that followed me had grown up listening to my music. They had all my attitude shift, but none of them had my magic. And youthful enthusiasm is no defense against a knife or a handgun. I left the punk scene for all the reasons I told you, boss, but there was a bigger reason, and I saw it in those kids' broken bodies. This road that I'm on, it leads to the grave. I've got the power to make it a leisurely trip, but make no mistake, that's where I'm heading. Those kids tried to follow my footsteps, and they wound up sprinting ahead of me instead. Better for me to stay out of the public eye and stick to the shadows. My stint was a role model was ill-advised. Have you thought about what I said earlier? Yeah, boss, I have. It's an interesting idea, but there are risks. I'm thinking that this might not be the best of times to approach him about it. He steals my magic, remember? If our discussion turned to an argument, he could take all that magic back to in a heartbeat, and then where would I be? From what you told me about the Dragon Slayer, I don't think he'd like the way you're talking. Since when has he ever encouraged you to back down from a fight? You got a point there, boss. He wouldn't want me to back down ever. Not even from him. Okay, So I'm gonna do this. I'll ask the Dragon Slayer about shifting priorities, I guess you'd say. Take it on some deserving organization and call off the hunt for something more impressive than the Fire Wing. Of course, but like that would never really end. I'm never gonna bring down a Corp or a Apollo Club all on my lonesome. Shucks. I mean, that's not a bad idea. It'd take a lot out of the guesswork out of my life. I don't know, boss. If you have any thoughts about this, I'd love to hear them. Why tie yourself to a specific group? I say keep it fluid. Stomp anyone that threatens the flux. Isn't that what Berlin is all about? He cocks his head. Interesting. That's a different approach, but I like it. Hang on a second, I'll ask. He closes his eyes and concentrates. Minutes pass. Slowly, a smile creeps out across his face. Dietrich opens his eyes and turns to face you. Yeah, I think that he'd like that. Like this plan just as fine. That was it? That was all it took? The Dragon Slayer doesn't mince words, boss. If he didn't like the plan, he'd have told me. Dietrich's grin widens. He looks more at ease than you've ever seen him. Well, boss, I've got myself a plan and a new target to boot. That's assuming, of course, that any of us make it through our current predicament alive. You know, Dietrich's, now that you've got a handle on your connection to the Dragon Slayer, you could probably reach out to your old community again. Berlin's punks could benefit from your experience. You nods. Yeah, boss. I was thinking the same thing. Maybe I can give back a bit and fix some of the damage I caused with my misspent youth. And after we're finished dealing with the crisis in front of us, that is. It's a good thought, anyway. I'll keep that in mind. Nothing right now, D. So we just convinced Dietrich to agree to come up with a new plan to live. I'm guessing the Dragon Slayer is just like, I'm in. Iger glances up at her from her PDA at the sound of your approach. Shift. This isn't the best of times. Her body language is self-assured, but you can hear the anxiety in her voice. Southerners are worried in a big way. Talk to me, Iger. Any thoughts on the last run? I'm not gonna lie, Shift. That one is gonna stick with me for a while. What they did to that troll was sick. This is probably gonna surprise you, but I'm happy that the Mark 6 is dead. Yeah, I heard Schmidt was pissed, and sure, our reputation got dinged. Neither of those things are good things. But I'll take them over being a part of what they were doing toward that troll any day. Walking out of a run with a clean conscience is a rare pleasure. Savor it while you can. So, killing the Mark 6 was actually a good thing. It's morally gray how you do it, but this is a good thing. Talk to me, Iger. There's something put on your edge. I want to know what it is. There's a long pause. Finally, she turns her PDA so you can look at the screen. This. The image that greets you is a hollow pic of a rail-thin orc with jet black hair. Who am I looking at? His name is Yuli Kozlov, but he's better known by his handle, the Engineer. He's a mercenary, ex-Spetsnaz, one of the best in his field. I ran up against him in my KSK days. Tell me more. He specializes at social engineering and wet work. In practice, he spends most of his time paving the way for organized crime syndicates to seize new territory. He sets up bribes, takes out key members of the opposition, and forges alliances with existing street gangs. All of the groundwork that a syndicate needs. He's extremely bad news, Shift. And my contact spotted him in Shot Nest. That's a little too close to the Cruise Bazaar for comfort. Exactly. I've seen what the Engineer can do up close. My KSK unit tracked him a few years ago. I had him at my sights on my rifle, but I was ordered to hold fire. We couldn't afford to give away our position. To this day, I regret obeying that order. I saw what happened to the town that he was softening up for after the syndicate moved in. Shift. I have to stop him before it's too late. What happened to that town, it can't be allowed to happen again in Shot Nest. Agreed. Do you know who he's working for now? The safest bet would be a Russian syndicate, but there's no telling. His client list is longer than you expect. Got any examples? Well, I know for a fact that he's working for mafia groups operating inside and outside of Russia, and he's put in a lot of time with the Lobachevsky syndicate. He's taken contracts with the Triads as well. My contact tells me that he's done a few jobs for Tamanas. That's a hell of a resume. Yeah, it is. She bites her lips and stares at the image on the PDA for a long moment. So long story short, I'm gonna have to step out for a mission or two. I know how important it is that we resolve the fear swing situation. I get it, but I can't just sit back and let this happen. She shakes her head. I won't. If the Cruise Bazaar is at risk, this is too important a job to rest on the shoulders of one person. I'm going with you, end of story. Alright, Fearless Leader, you're right. I could use the help. But the others, they can't know about this. This is gonna have to be a quiet job, 2 people max. You sure prepare for this? If you can hold on your end, I'll be better off on my own. Don't worry, I'm solid. Yeah, I know you are. Grab your things and meet me at Der Weinkeller. I've got a contact who's gonna join us there, and he can help us figure out our next step. Well, that happened. Glory favors you with a weak smile, her expression cautious. You suddenly are aware of how small she is. Boy, Shift, I gotta admit I've been dreading this. So, now that you know what I've done, what I am, you're gonna tell me off? Can't blame you if you were. No, Glory. I'm not here to tell you off. Truth be told, I wanted to check in and see how you were doing. Well, any thoughts on the last run? A tinge of red crawls up Glory's neck. Shift. Look at me. She extends her sculpted metal arms. Chrome glints in the flickering light. I'm not far from being what that poor troll was. When I think of what they did to him. She looks you in the eye. Her expression remains neutral, but that slight blush has spread from her neck to her cheeks. It wasn't right. And you did the only thing that you could to make it better. You knew that it would cost you, and you did it anyway because it was right. I won't forget that Shift. Not ever. Right? Not great. Struggling. About how'd you expect? We left off in a bad place last time. I've been thinking about your story and I have a question for you. Yeah? What is it? You escaped from You escaped from Haro, but he's still out there. He's looking to atone for your past. Don't you think that shutting him down would be a good place to start? She holds her silence for a long moment. Finally, she nods. Yes. I've been thinking about this for a long time, Shift. And every time that I've gotten close to making a decision, I've turned and run away again. No more running. I'm ready to face this thing, but I can't do it alone. We're gonna need your help. That's the idea. Alright. If we're gonna do this, we need to be clear on what our goal is. There are a lot of innocent people in that place. Lost street kids who got sucked in by Marta and the other girls like her. Saving them won't be easy, but it feels like the right thing to do. But then, there's also Haro to consider. I want that man dead. Lord knows that he deserves it. And if we don't make killing him our top priority, he might get away from us. If that happens, if he runs, he'll eventually start another cult somewhere else, where we can't find him. And all of this would have been for nothing. We're likely to run into other complications as well. So I think that we need to make a decision up here up front. What do you do in my place? Rescue the kids or take down Haro? I don't think we can manage both. Freeing the kids should be our first priority. We raid Fierstel, round out the runaways, and clear Haro's influence from their minds. Killing him will have to be secondary. I hate giving Haro the chance to escape, but you're right. Saving the kids is what's important. She pauses, considering her choice, and a small smile flits across her lips. This feels like the path to redemption. This feels right. Glad to hear that we're in agreement. When you're ready to go, meet me at the van. It's a long drive from here to the Schonbock. She nods. Right. I'll get my thanks. Oh, and thanks, Shift. For everything. I can see why people love Glory. And lastly, the DVD. Load up the 4th. Alright. Track 1. The DVD player ramps up in speed, filling the air with a shrill whirling sound. Green Winters' face appears on the screen. Timestamp on the video reads 2054-28. This is it. The interview. Took some digging to find it, but here he is. My big brother back in his prime. The note disappears and for a moment the screen goes black. Suddenly an image of a news correspondent flashes onto the screen accompanied by a brief orchestral flourish. The timestamp on the upper right corner of the screen reveals the date. August 22nd, 2012. That already that passed, dang. Thank you for joining us. We're coming to you live from the ruins of Shangarhausen, the 5th Hars mountain town to be sacked by the Dragon Fiercewing. Standing by my side is the head of DL Defense, Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Dr. Vauclair has been hailed as a leader in the effort to bring down Fiercewing and end her reign of terror. Dr. Vauclair, tell us about your efforts to bring down the dragon. Killing the monster has proven difficult to say the least. Her speed and maneuverability in the air are extraordinary. Her skills repel small arms fire and her breath can melt steel. Our R&D teams have been working around the clock to devise a weapon capable of downing the beast. In the interim, we are providing material support for the Loftwaif's attempts to shoot her down via conventional means. Herr Vauclair, why are you directing DL Defense's energies to killing the Fiercewing? Are there corporate interests at play in this? Corporate interests? No, this is a matter of human interest. Innocent lives are being extinguished at an appalling rate. I'm in a position to help put an end to the slaughter, and so I must. It really is that simple. Dr. Vauclair, you must understand my skepticism. Our viewers aren't looking for a PR statement. They come here for the truth. I'm afraid that I don't have time to go back and forth on this. The viewers can think whatever they wish. My concern is in helping the people affected by this tragedy. In that case, Dr. Vauclair, I thank you for sharing your valuable time with us. You're very welcome. To the viewers at home, stay safe and watch the skies. Salvation is coming. I promise. Again, that was Dr. Adrian Vauclair, CEO of DL Defense. Dr. Vauclair is the chief architect of the military's current plan to bring down the Dragon Fiercewing. Stay tuned for more late-breaking news on the battle for the Hars Mountains. We'll be right back. Alright. Comes to an end. You find yourself on the main menu. 2. We went to... Okay, same thing as before. There's a look of astonishment on his face. Oh. The display goes blank for a moment, then the face of Green Winters winks into the screen. There was a look of astonishment on his face. The timestamp on the video reads 2054-11-17. Holy shit. I just doubled into some of Adrian's old lab notes. I'm not gonna say how I came across these, so I'm not gonna if the wrong people watch this. But I've checked them against Adrian's old handwriting samples and they're legitimate. Holy shit, this is big. Alright, okay, back up. Slow down. Breathe. He takes a moment to calm himself. Okay, so these notes, they pretty much confirm something that I've always suspected. The Loftwalk didn't shoot down Fiercewing. I mean, they tried. They pumped thousands of rounds into the air around her. And they lobbed rockets at her for months. Lost a lot of attack helicopters and fighter craft in the process. But none of those things were responsible for taking her down. The Dragonfall was caused by an experimental warhead, one that Adrian and his DL Defense think tank designed. I don't understand the science of it, not even a little bit. But from what I can piece together, it looks like they designed some sort of chemical radiological agent that acts on metagene. I don't think they fully understood what they were doing. It was 2012 after all. I mean, the process worked, but I don't know if they understood why it worked. Anyway, when a warhead full of this stuff comes into contact with a dual-natured creature, like a dragon, say, it drives a wedge between that creature's physical and astral forms. The body gets put into a sort of hibernative state, and the spirit is forced out. It also looks like this process can maintain that state of separation indefinitely. That's a pretty horrifying thought. A discorporeated body supposed to die in a few hours. I've heard horror stories about ghost-walking mages getting trapped in astral space, unable to rejoin with their meat. I heard they went crazy from the pain. If what I'm reading is accurate, it's entirely possible that Fiercewing has been trapped outside of our body for over 40 years. Winters pushed his chair back and slaps the table in front of him. This is why Adrian was so cagey about the subject of Fiercewing after the Dragonfall. He knew for a fact that she was alive, even if only technically. Her body crashed down in the Sock Shore, but she wasn't dead. The government wouldn't let Adrian tell the public about any of this, of course. It interfered with the lie that they've been feeding us. That the Fiercewing was dead and that everyone was safe, and that the people should stop hiding in their basements and get back to work again. But privately, he always said that she was still out there, somewhere deep in the Socks. I always thought he was paranoid, but I was wrong. He knew. So what does this all mean? It means that the stories I got from that ghost rat suddenly sound a lot more plausible. It means that Fiercewing is definitely alive, and that Adrian's disappearance is unquestionably tied to her survival. It also means that Germany is in deep shit. Because if Fiercewing is still alive, it's only a matter of time before she rears her ugly head again. Okay, that's enough for one night. I'm gonna go get drunk. I do not blame you! So Fiercewing's soul got separated from her body. We're pretty sure her body was... Oh my god. Her body was in the socks. Oh, Adrian must have gotten the body out. What is the Hartville Manor? It's not a lair for Fiercewing, it's her prison. The DVD player ramps up in speed, filling the air with short whirling sound. Green Winter's face appears on the screen. He looks younger than you've ever seen him, but from the way he's carrying himself, he's clearly drunk. The timestamp on the video reads 2033, 5:15. Huh. Look, Adrian, I understand you. Lord knows I do, but you've gotta drop this dragon fixation. People are starting to talk. There's a camera cut, and you find yourself looking at a young, handsome Dr. Adrian Vauclair. Where's a slight smile on his face? Oh? They're talking, are they? What a terrible shame. Damn it, Adrian, this is serious. You're a public figure. You could lose everything if you don't keep these ridiculous fairy tales to yourself. Hermie, my theories are not, as you call them, fairy tales. Dragons are real. I saved Germany from one. Have you forgotten? No, of course not. Everyone knows that you killed the Fire Wing. Stopped, not killed. Fine, stopped, whatever. Winter swipes a bottle off the table in front of him. He drains it and then drops it to the ground. Call whatever you want, but Adrian, you're the only one who's still obsessed with the damn things. There aren't that many of them, and they're not taking over the world. Vauclair's voice is quiet, soft. Such is the city of the cancer patient, unaware of what's killing him. I'm fine, not to worry. I'll smoke another cigarette. What's the harm? He doesn't see what's happening, but he winds up dead all the same. Winter snorts. You're just being maudlin. Look, Adrian. Vauclair shakes his head. His smile has disappeared. You mark my words, Hermie. Within 5 years, corporations, even countries will follow these creatures. And the worst part is, nobody will care. Well, he's not wrong. I mean, Loftware. Oh, people will tut-tut about it. They may be a protest or two, but nobody will actually do anything to stop them. The immortal, all-powerful, utterly pitiless reptiles will seize more and more of our power, wealth, and territory. And we foolish, short-sighted mortals will never get it back. Green Winters chuckles uncomfortably, raising his hands in the air in a supplicating gesture. Oh, come on, come now, Adrian. Vauclair takes over his brother's interruption. We could solve the problem, of course, but we as a species are unwilling to invest our energy into problems that aren't staring us right in the face. As it was with climate change, so it is with dragons. I've accepted that, but you can't ask me to stop caring about it. Richard shakes his head. You're hopeless, Adrian. Fine, by all means, just keep your conspiracy theories to yourself. I'm telling you this for your own sake. Vauclair sighs. He looks incredibly tired. Yes, Hermie, you're right, of course. I mustn't jeopardize my credibility with the masses. Winter's expression turns serious. His voice lowers. It's not just your credibility that I'm worried about. Talk is talk, but sometimes... He pauses, shakes his head. Sometimes I'm worried you're really going to go back to the socks. Vauclair's tone softens again. Hermie, Winters cuts his brother off. A new intensity burns in his voice. Please, big brother, just drop all of this. Stop hunting for the Fire Wing and start living your life again. If you don't do it for yourself, then for Christ's sake, do it for me. Vauclair nods, then looks away from the screen. Alright, Hermie. I'll try. Wow. Brotherly family situation. Track 4. A rattling sound fills the air as the disc grinds in its tray. A few seconds later, the screen fills with text. User Jolly Green Winters, last active 1/15/54, sex and metatype. Me inmate singles dating profile. Okay. Skinner. I'm a fun-loving guy who's also a great listener. I love hiking, clubbing, and all kinds of pets. And for a cute, funny, adventurous girl who's down to party, I don't respond to profiles without pics. No orcs, no trolls. Sorry, ladies. This growls again, and you find yourself sitting at the main menu. Oh. I think that's all we're gonna get down for today. Historical record. Huh. Got an achievement for seeing all the DVDs. Good. Anyway, I'll call it here for today. We've done a whole lot. So, we've learned whatever the heck Fierce Wing's out bioweapon. We talked to everybody over... Oh, we gotta talk to Blitz. Crap. We'll do that tomorrow. We'll go ahead... But, yeah, basically, yeah, we just found out Fierce Wing got a bioweapon. We found out that she might actually have been separated from her astral projection and might honestly be in the Heartfelt Manor. And we got 2 new loyalty missions to take care of. Until then, I'm Dragon King Mark. And next time on Shadowrun Dragonfall Director's Cut, we're gonna go ahead and prepare a bit for one of the loyalty missions, do a bit more talking, and then we're gonna, well, do one of the loyalty missions. I think we'll do Igers. Anyway, leave a like, hit that like button, leave a comment down below, hit the subscribe button and the bell icon to be notified, and I'll see all of you next time. Laters. Here's hoping the stream comes in straight.